If you are anything like me and Slavo and like swearing like a sailor, then hell, you got a home here. Welcome to the Go Show, celebrating all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of a state, nation, and world that we live in. Thanks for playing along. We're on every damn streaming service you could possibly imagine. So here we go. This is Slavo over here, over there. There, that way is Slavo. Slavo, I want you to get over to slavosalt.com and order the best seasoning there is. Period. It is as amazing as you could possibly get a seasoning to be. I'm doing say a 16-hour brisket this weekend, and it's going to just have Slavo. There's going to be none of those other rubs things on there. Just throw a little Slavo on there, wrap it up, make it a season on into there, and then into the smoker. It goes into the Green Mountain. So get over to slavosalt.com. Use the code GOSHOW. Get you a little bit off your order. This is the man who makes an executive chef and one hell of an archer. Before we start, and Rhonda says, welcome, Slavo. The whole fan bam, the whole fan bam will be chiming in as we go through. So we back it up a little bit. A while ago, Slavo called me up and said, "Hey, I got a bow. I'm gonna go to where were we at? Papago. I'm gonna go to Papago, and I'm gonna go ahead and sling some arrows down, see how this thing works. Okay, I'll meet you down there." Slavo's at 30 yards, just 10 ringing this thing, just pop, 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 like he'd been slinging arrows his whole life. And then he looks over at me. And he goes, well, wait, I'm getting a little feedback from you on there, Slavo. I don't know if what's going on with your mic, but it's okay. It's all good. He gone. But he said he had the pins. He said, now what are these little pin thingies for? I said, you're not using your sight pins. He goes, no, I didn't know those were sight pins. I'm like, you've just been 10 ringing at 30 yards, just eyeballing it. Yeah. And it went from there. Definitely the best archer I have known, I have hung out with, that I've hunted with. And Slavo hunts for real. And that's why I'm having him on today, not just to hype the best salt seasoning there is. It is to recap a hunt that he had, which is probably one of the hardest archery hunts that you can have in ever. And that is for a pronghorn. So the speed goat tag he got. And Grizz says, what up, Slavo? And so there is a story behind it. Slavo hunts. This is why I had him on here, because he hunts. He doesn't hunt like, just, okay, you got a guide, or you've been up, got some trail cams up and you know where to go, and you've been hunting the same spot every time. Slavo finds a spot, does a lot of work before then, finds a spot, and then sets up camp. And he goes, I'm not leaving until I get a damn animal. He did that with a elk, which was a successful hunt. We will find out if this is a successful hunt as well. So Slavo, walk us through this. You get it in, you got the credit card hit. Finally, you got a tag. It's almost unheard of in Arizona. You got a tag for speed goat. Was it a thank God finally, or was it, oh crap, this is not going to be easy?
Oh no, man. It was like so I had 14 or 15 points, Woo! And so by that point it had gotten to the point of where I was like, this thing's just, it's like the bighorn. Like, this just never gonna happen. Or when it does, I'm gonna be old as shit. And so I was thrilled. And then to find out that it was in Unit 1,
Woo.
I'm burning the spot, whatever. They're speed goats. There are no honey holes for speed goats. They sit right out in the middle of the open. Everyone can see them driving 80 miles an hour. So I had Unit 1, and it was, a half hour from where our cabin that we spend the summer in. So we, had a ton of time to get up there, learn the roads. And yeah, I was, I don't think I was super nervous, because I had never actually put foot on the same ground as pronghorn, meaning I'd seen him from the road driving 80. I had been on the dirt road with the glass, but I had never exited the truck and tried to enter what my uncle and I called the Iron Dome of speed goats.
Oh man.
Which is 225 yards. anywhere you can be outside 225 and they're just grazing, having fun. You go 224 and they are 3 counties over by
Ooh.
the time you've, figure out the direction they're heading.
Right.
It's an impressive animal.
And so at 225, and here's why this is so impressive. At 225, you and I are both taking that shot with a 270, with a 30 out. We're taking that shot all day.
Yes.
And
all day
that's
long.
easy. No big deal. Pretty easy. You, sir, have a bow in your hand. Now, moving up to that, where you and your uncle get up to the Iron Dome of pronghorn, I don't want to skate over this, because when you talk to guides in the industry, in the hunting biz, they will say that the number one reason that they do not have a successful hunt, or a hunt goes south, is not a successful harvest, is the number one reason is there was no preparation prior to. There was no practice. They're not comfortable with their firearm, their bow, whatever it is. And they're just damn out of shape. Period. Those are the top two. Any guide you ask, they will tell you those two things. Top two, guarantee it. Money back guarantee. Like Slavo Salt, by the way, money back guarantee on that. So there is a, so you throw what? 30 to 50 arrows a day?
Yeah.
Normally.
Yeah. Normal. Yeah. I mean, it's a few hundred a week.
Okay.
I may miss a day, but I'll get in there, and yeah. And then when I got this, I practice normally. I don't practice inside of 50, so 50 to 60 is kind of where my daily practice is. And I was talking to a friend who had done a pronghorn in Arizona a few years ago with a bow, and he's like, 80. He's like, you got to be good at 80 at minimum.
80.
Yeah. And he goes, really, you need to be good at 100.
What?
And so that was a real, and we text each other during this hunt, because I was having a moral dilemma of shooting outside of that. Not because I didn't think I was capable. There's just a lot that can happen in 100 yards between you and an animal of that caliber, and so I practiced, my practice went from 50, 60 to 70 to 100.
Dang.
I never shot inside of 70 since June.
Okay.
And so that's every day.
At 80 or 100, the pin has to cover the target. Yeah, like, I mean, in your sight,
they're not big, man. They're I mean, they make Coues deer look fat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the shooting that distance is something that, and we'll get into that, but I had a real dilemma with, because the first day I was out there, I met 2 guys. I watched one guy wing one at 100. Which he did end up recovering. And then then I had another guy show me a picture of one that he just blasted straight, and he claimed that he got it behind the lungs, below the spine. And he's like, he's fine.
He's fine.
I saw him for 2. He's fine. I was like, are you a fucking veterinarian?
Yeah, exactly. Shake it off. Rub some dirt on it. Yeah. It's okay, buddy. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm bad about that. So, and we've talked about on this show before, like, I practice so much because I really, really do not want to wound an animal and lose it.
Yeah.
That's something that, it inevitably is going to happen. But, I want to take all possibility out of that happening as much as possible.
Of course. Yeah.
So I practice my ass off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hike my ass off.
You are a hiker. You hike daily.
Yeah.
And then you told me to get a 35-pound kettlebell. And when Slavo told me to get a 35-pound kettlebell, and Slavo's one of my closest friends, he told me to get a 35-pound kettlebell. Look at him just lifting it up like it's nothing. I got a 25 because I'm like, this freak of nature. No, and I did, but I did actually work it up. What's up, Brendan? I did work it up to the 35. So but that is beefy. So you do kettlebells, you do the Peloton, and you hike your ass off. So you are prepared.
Yeah.
There is nothing going into this hunt where you're like, I don't think I'm good with this. You know, you have the confidence, at least in your equipment, in yourself, in your training, and your in your studious nature, and in making sure that you have the right spots, and you glassed, you are ready to go. So you step in day one, opening day. You said you ran into a few people, but I mean, you step into the Iron Dome. It's got to be intimidating, man. It's got to be like, this is too easy. Something's wrong here.
Incredible. So shout out to Rich at Timber Mesa Archery up in Sholo. Killer archery shop. Rich is one of the owners. Awesome dude. And I was bullshitting with him, and I was telling him about this hunt. He's like, oh, he goes, man, this will become your favorite hunt. Like, once you do pronghorn and you're ready for it, this will be your favorite kind of hunt. I was like, better than elk in the rut? He goes, million times better.
What?
He goes,
okay.
You will be yeah. And I was like, okay, now this guy's just shining me on, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm gonna figure out how to hunt pronghorn every year. It used to be I'm gonna figure out how to hunt elk every year.
Yeah.
I think this did change it. And but no, back to your question. So I feel really, really confident right up until I step out of the truck the first time to make a stalk.
Yeah.
And I realize the Iron Dome. They are so cagey, and these haven't been shot at, you know, other than, you know, the handful of guys who were out there the week before I was there with archery. They're just cagey, jumpy animals. And, you know, after those first 2 days, I did 21 stalks in 6 days.
Okay, well, don't paint over that, kid. Don't paint over that.
Yeah.
Don't paint over that. That's about 3.5 stalks a day if my math is correct here.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a lot. Now, when we say stalks, everybody know what's up, Lynn. Good to have you here. This is Slavo salt seasoning. Get over to slavosalt.com. We're talking about his pronghorn archery hunt. So pronghorn hunting is hard as it is. Pronghorn archery hunting is a whole new ball game. So don't paint over that. 3 stock. A stock is you have your target site. You've been glassing. You've been through your binoculars. You have your target acquired. And now you got to get low. You got to get your wind right. You got to stalk. You got to prepare. And now you are full on stalker at this moment, which I've had a couple. It's really intimidating. But the stalks, you said you're doing 3 a day. What's happening on these things?
So, you know, at first, those first couple days, it was me like walking out into the field, getting low, getting busted, and they run. You know, that's a very abbreviated version of it. And, you know, a stalk could last anywhere from 10 minutes to 3 hours. Okay. You know, and so what I really learned throughout this thing is utilizing terrain, because they're out in the flats. There is no, you know, minimal juniper. They're just in the grass. Like, that is their defense mechanism. And they fan out, so their asses are in the middle and their eyes are looking in 360 degrees.
Really?
And there's always one doe who is just keyed up to the max, like she's a meth head, and like
she's
all of a sudden she the Karen of the antelope world is a bad bee. And like, she decides it's on, everybody's gone.
Whoa.
You know, the only good part is usually the buck is the last one. So if you can figure out which way they're going to go, you know, you can and get yourself into position to try to head them off. You know, that buck usually is trailing the crew, but it's humbling, man. After those first few days, I think I texted you and I was like, I have no idea how I don't think this is going to work, you know. And I had 6 days total in the field planned. And then my hunt was up. And so, yeah, that second night at camp, my uncle showed up, and I was like, he goes, how is it? I was like, they're really cool. I have no idea how we're going to do this though, you know? And it's one of those things that, and Rich from Timber Mesa broke it down. He's like, it's road hunting, but it's not road hunting because you can't get close enough from the truck to shoot them. But basically, you drive around, you see them, you make a stalk, you blow the stalk, you get back in the truck, you drive around, you make a stalk, you blow the stalk, you drive around, and that's how it goes. And so we did that for 6 days. On the Wednesday before, we had five stalks. From 6 a.m. The last stalk wrapped up at about 6:15 p.m. And that one I got, that was the day that I broke the 100-yard mark of getting inside of 100 on them.
Oh, okay.
I got into 8 does at 53 yards in the juniper. And so that was like my holy shit, this is doable moment.
Right.
Like this,
okay.
we can, this is going to work. And then it got down to the second one, the last stalk of that day, I had a buck come at 90 and I had it marked at 80 where he was going to cross my point. I had a little kazoo coyote call in my mouth ready to blow. He looked at me at 9.
Okay, wait, stop. No, he didn't have a real kazoo. But what is it? A coyote call? What do you have a coyote call for?
So my buddy Coates, the guy who killed one a couple years ago with bow, goes, have a coyote call.
Really?
And when they bolt, blow that thing and they will stop. And I kid you not, I did it 5 times. They stop on a dime.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Craziest. I thought he was screwing with me, but I bought one and I have a little extra pocket in my bino harness. And so I had that thing just sticking out of there. And I, one-handed it or no-handed it. So that Wednesday,
can you show me? No. Slowly show me the motion. And Jim Hurd just joined the crew, so we have to embellish the story a little bit more. But show me the motion, the no-handing it. I want to see this, please. Go ahead. Fantastic. Okay, all right. So you got to stop him. Right.
That's for Jim.
There you go. All right, Tequila Jim's in. All right, so now you stopped him with your coyote call.
Yeah. So, but that one was, so he saw me at 92. I wasn't ready. Every stalk, the really cool part, Mike, is, in elk hunting, every stalk you learn from. This, it's just like drinking from the fire hose because you're getting so many at-bats a day. Yeah. And so every day I'm becoming more and more confident, feeling more comfortable with the tactics, feeling what will work, what won't work. Utilizing the terrain, how much, those flats have such an arc with 12 to 18-inch grass that you can sneak up, in the wide open and have them not see us. A lot of trial and error.
Well, yeah, I thought it was just watching Meat Eater and Steve Ranella. I thought it was just you just wave a white pillowcase and man, they just come on in and there you go, you just pop them. Maybe you have to go crazy and take your shoes off, on a little stock. But I mean, I thought it was easy watching Meat Eater. I thought that was that easy.
You should not be able to hunt pronghorn with a rifle. That is flat out cheating.
Is it really?
It is 100%. Like we
note to self, Tequila Jim, we're putting in for rifle pronghorn. So yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, you and Tequila Jim will be in the rest home by the time you get drawn for that.
That's true. Very true. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I did meet a lot of the rifle guys that were coming in. Like on my last 2 days, they started coming in to start scouting, which I'm like, yeah, it must be nice. Like 2 days before your hunt, get to start scouting. Right. But the median age was probably 78 years old. Like them bros, they were long in the tooth.
Yeah, add 84 points. I'm only 70, but I got some bonus points. Yeah, I got it finally.
Exactly.
My great grandson drove.
Shooting pronghorn with a rifle is flat out cheating.
Got it.
Because they stand still unless you get in 200 yards.
Yeah, that's why I said he saw
They just
Luke, it was Ranella took Luke Combs out there, and they both just pop one day, pop one the next day, and yeah, it was this rifle hunt, and
yeah.
it didn't seem, they just waved the white little deal, and but did you try any of those tactics?
No.
No.
The whole white thing. No, I didn't try that. You mentioned it when I was out there, and one, I didn't know if that was even legal. I probably should have read the regs
Huh.
better.
Yeah.
But they were so skittish that I thought if they see anything out of sorts, they're gone. And that was, so I was like, I'm not going to waste a stock. Was my theory. Like I just didn't. I knew that the clock was ticking, and so I was using as much terrain features in wind, which the wind up in Unit 1 that's gnarly, man.
I
You
bet.
get, it is crosswind. And so with archery, obviously, I want a downwind or an upwind shot. Ended up not taking one of those. And there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just redneck shit waving a t-shirt. That's for sure.
Come on, you don't just drive the side by side up, walk about 50 yards, wave the white flag, and then shoot the thing. I thought it was that easy. I was telling Queen Bee, I was like, how in the world is he taking so damn long? I don't understand why he's been out there for 5-6 days. Hell, I've seen this on TV. This is easy. Yeah.
He's just stretching it out. He doesn't want to go home. Doesn't want to go back to work.
He's doing it for the gram. He's doing it for the content. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So
Totally.
let's get to the actual, you see it now. You got you got the one you want. It's right there. And it's sun's getting low, as they say in the Marvel universe. Yeah. Sun's getting low. So what do we do, pal?
So final day, we do 3 stalks throughout the day. And now, we're coming up on 4:00, and there's this herd that was out in the flats that we saw when we got there at 6:30 in the morning to glass. And we're like, and my uncle's like, hey, there's a little buck and a big buck out there with them. And I'm like, dude, they're in the middle of the open. I'm not going to waste my time. It's like, that is an impossible hunt. 4:00 rolls around. I'm like, well, I guess we go after that impossible one, otherwise we're just going to drive around and hope to find another one. We know where they are. And so we see this little ridge, line that goes in where next to this plateau that they're on. And I'm like, all right, I think we can get down about a mile down, work our way up that thing. And then that buck seems to be pulled over, closer to that. He might be within, we pop up. I was going to have my uncle hold an antelope decoy. And then I was going to pop up, 20 yards away from him and, make magic happen. We get there, we pop up, and there's nothing there. Oh, and I go, whoa, okay, that's fun. And so I kind of get up, use the glass, and I can see the antlers through the grass on the other side of this deal. I go, okay, they're right there. I see ears, I see antlers, they're all here. We find a juniper to sit under. And I'm like, okay, they're going to get up and feed. Sun's getting ready to go down. They're either going to come our way or they're going to go the other way. 50-50 odds. So 2 hours later of me every 10 minutes standing up to make sure I still see antler and ears. 6:30, the sun is like halfway behind the mountain behind us.
Yeah.
I look up. Shit, they're not there. Shit, they've gone the other way. And so I was like, all right, there's a little bush out in the middle of this plateau. I'm going to make a move out there and get behind it and find out where these things are.
Right.
I get 20 yards away from our juniper we were under, and I'm doing the creep move, and I look over and I see just 7 backs. Oh. And all of a sudden I see the ears start coming up. So I just drop, and I'm in the wide middle open. And I'm like, dude, you waited 2 hours for this. Yeah. And you got so impatient that you rushed out here and now they're all looking at you. This is all the negative self-talk I've got.
Oh, hell
going.
yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm just screaming at myself internally. And so, I sit there in that squat for 7 minutes, which is challenging, which I owe another buddy of mine who's a real fitness guy. We were talking about how much I hike. He's like, you need to squat. And so basically you just squat down and you sit there for an extended period of time. Try it, Mike. It's hard.
No.
And so, yeah,
you
try it, buddy.
You do it. I'll watch you do it. Send me a video.
So I squat down for like 7 minutes. The does finally lose interest. The big buck is at 250 yards. Never, once they keyed in something was there, he's like, I'm going to mosey this way.
Yeah.
And stay well out of whatever that thing's is range. The does start to lose interest in this one buck. I'm looking through my binos. I go, okay, the horns are bigger than the ears. And that was my one thing. I'm not looking for a mass, Pope and Young or whatever. I just want, a reasonable animal, antler above the ears, because they got big ass ears. And he sits there and he kind of wanders and he's just they all just gave up on me. I don't know if it's the Sitka subalpine or, I just look like a stump.
Well, you were squatting. Yeah.
I was squatting.
Yeah.
And so my uncle's back behind me and all he can see is me squatting. And then all of a sudden he says, I see you just come up at full draw. And he goes, oh boy, it's party time. And so, yeah, man, that buck circled around a little bit, fed, and I ranged him at 107 yards.
Damn, buddy.
I was like, the sun was down. The wind had stopped. There was a crosswind. And, yeah, man, it's, players got to make a play. And so I felt good. I practiced my ass off at 100 yards. And I sent it. And
tell me how long that was in. Tell me how long that arrow was in the air. 10 minutes.
Forever.
Just waiting.
Forever. And yeah, and I was
slow motion.
Yeah, it's not a bullet. It's not instantaneous. Like that thing's in the air and you're watching the arc. And then, it's like, again, the negative self-talk is like, oh, you overshot it. You screwed out,
It's like in the Price is Right when they spin the wheel and you're just waiting and waiting and it slows down. And that's what it is watching that arc. Yeah, I hear you, buddy.
Yeah. And I was waiting for the bankrupt to hit, Zero.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, hit it. He kicks off. I see blood shoot. I was like, oh my God, this is happening. Ended up hitting him a little bit back.
Yeah.
And spine, and it inhibited his ability to walk really well. I was able to track in there and get in behind a bush and put in a finishing shot on it.
Nice.
Right. Right at dark. We sent that baby into overtime.
That's no, it was just fine. Everything was right, exactly, right by the regs.
Right there. Right there.
By the regs.
Yeah.
It was right by the regs.
By the regs. Exactly.
Dude, that had to have been one of the most amazing accomplishments. 6 days of hunting, 3 stalks a day, just learning and learning and learning, and finally getting to send one and to knock it at 100 yards. Damn, son. I told y'all at the beginning of the show, is the best damn archer I've ever dealt with. So, but I would not trust me with that shot, not in a million years. I'd trust you with that shot all day long. So, because like you said, you're sending 30 to 50 arrows a day. So you're a guy I would trust taking that shot.
Yeah, and man, even myself, I had some, confidence issue. It's you have to put in the work to be able to make a shot like that ethically, and there's still there, like I said, I hit it back. There's a lot that can go wrong when you're, only shooting something that's going 275 to 350 feet per second. Like, and going that kind of distance, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And, that's one big takeaway is like, if you're going to make those shots, rather with a gun or a bow, you better know that you're capable of making that shot, not taking a shot and like, I hope this works out. It's not fair to the animal. Mm-hmm. It's not right. And then I'm going to piss some people off here, but this needs to be said.
Okay, get it.
If you hit an animal, that's your tag.
Yep.
You don't get to keep hunting and say it's okay. It's going to be fine. I blew its front shoulder out. No big deal.
It's got 3 other legs.
Dude,
forget that noise.
Yeah. This whole thing of people going out and it's like, hey, I'm just going to throw lead until I get one that's finally down. Like that is what gives us a bad name. That is what will have our rights and privileges taken away from us. And that is the ammunition that the other side is using, that people are going out and just, taking bad shots. And then they keep hunting. I almost got in a fist fight in the field with the dude. Like I was ready to beat that guy's ass. I was furious. And I text you and I was like, as my barometer of, hey, I'm not wrong here, right?
No, you weren't.
And but that's something that needs to be said and something that needs to be talked about in our community. Like, when you're hunting big game, if you wing one, the rest of your trip is to find that animal. You don't get to go pick a new one. It's like going to Blue Rooster. If you go to Blue Rooster and you get a clean pass through and you shoot the animal behind the animal you just shot, you just bought 2 of them.
Close. I've been close. Almost had 2 rams on the wall. Yeah.
You've been real close.
On that. Whoo! I think he dusted his booty. I think the back one got a little nick in the
hair off its ass.
A little nick in the tuchus. Yeah. Well, buddy, that's congratulations. I can't wait to see how we're preparing this. I can't wait to see the mount. Very, very excited for you. Excited that everybody got to hear this. And by the way, you're not ruffling any feathers. You're not pissing anybody off hearing that, because our crew is the right kind of crew that does things ethically and does things right. So proud of you, buddy. Congratulations on that. Sure. Get over to SlavoSalt.com. Check out the best salt seasoning there is, period. End of story. Use the code GOSHOW and we'll get you a little bit off your order there. All right. We'll do this again. Mañana, guys, we're doing it tomorrow at 10 o'clock again. Yeah, it's that Greg guy. We're going to do it at 10 o'clock again tomorrow. So a little bit early, right here on the Go Show, celebrating all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of a state, nation, world that we live in. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thanks.